What am I currently working on? Well, I'm trying to decide what on earth to do with the game engine series. So, alright, stream. So let's break this down a little bit, right? So, I ran a little poll. Let me just show this. I ran a little poll, and I said, hey everyone, those of you who watch care about the game engine series, trying to decide how to continue. Basically, how do people feel about the pacing? So, 16% said it's too slow, I want more features faster. 43% said, I like the pace, it's perfect. 19% said slow down, spend more time explaining what you're doing, and 22% why are we still doing 3D, which is kind of the same as it's too slow. So if we sum those together, that's like 38% of people are saying that it's too slow, 43% of people are saying it's perfect, and for some reason 19% want it even slower than it already is, which is absurd. But anyway, so with this data in mind, basically 43%, which if you think about it is actually less than half, are happy with everything. So that would mean that 57% in some way the game engine series is not perfect for them. Which, to be honest, I'm shocked that 43% like the pace, because I thought this number would be closer to like 20%. Because in my opinion, it's just, everything's just way too slow. Like, we're just spending too much time. Like, well, I mean, I'm not necessarily making episodes every week, but I do things like game engine series week every now and then to kind of make up for a bit of that. But anyway, the point is, we clearly are not really suiting everyone at this point. And so what I want to do going forward is, I think that even though 43% say that they're happy with everything, there is still almost the same amount which think that it's not like evolving fast. Because again, if you 22 plus 16 is 38, right? So 38% of people, which is very close, 5% off from 43, also think that it's not, you know, fast enough. So I guess in my mind, it's kind of like an even split between these two. It's just that I gave more options for people. And then 19% again, slow down. I think this 19% I'm kind of going to ignore, because I actually am going to have content coming out in the future, hopefully by the end of the year, that's going to be specifically for people who want more of like an actual course that will teach like all the details, right? But what's happening in my mind here with the game engine series is that I want to take it from a tutorial series and take it into more of like, not like devlog territory, but more of like a, how do I explain this? Like, it's still going to be like a how-to kind of tutorial series, but it's just that instead of writing all of the code and planning everything and going over everything inside each episode, what we're going to do is spend time developing the engine on this live stream and then make episodes out of that by probably pulling in code from diffs and doing a little bit more of what we did in, I think when I did the event system, I kind of experimented with that format. And I think back then it probably didn't make sense. But now it's, yeah, I think that, I don't know. I just think that it's not going to be like feasible to go forward without spending like more time actually developing this stuff on stream and then picking out the kind of good stuff from that. Okay, anyway, yeah, number 1, 4, not at all the same. I think they are, because lots of people are, you know, I've been paying attention to like the Discord channel, and a lot of people are just not happy with the fact that the series is not progressing quickly, right? And they, you know, 3D is kind of like a measurement of how fast the series is progressing, because we said we would do 2D first and then we would do 3D. And so clearly we're still on 2D and we're barely on 2D. I mean, if you look at this stuff, like, it looks very three-dimensional, but we're still kind of working to build the 2D stuff up, and we can't, it's not like you can make a game with this, you know, in 2D. So clearly, like, in terms of the game engine series, it's not really going very quickly, which, you know, I mean, is fine, because apparently 43% of people are happy with it. But I'm not sure that I am, and also I have to think about how much time the Game Engine series is taking me to actually do per week. Because as we get more and more complicated, right, naturally, this series is going to take more and more time. And because the Game Engine series for me is like the least viewed thing on my entire channel, like each episode of the Game Engine series, when I put that out, that just gets the least amount of views. I know that there's a good core audience that really likes it, but I still have to think about how much time I put into that compared to things that clearly more people appreciate. So it's also a bit of a balancing act. So I can't just like devote myself fully to this Game Engine series because there's just not enough people watching it, I guess is my point. And also because like I still want to do it, of course, and I still want to develop it, but I also really want to work on Hazel Dev and other kind of, you know, I don't just want to spend all my time teaching how to make a game engine. My cat's just standing in front of my light and it's probably gonna like crash it in a minute. Don't do that. Anyway, I can't spend all my time teaching how to make a game engine and then not actually make a game engine, because then I'm just like some academic. And yeah. What is my best viewed show? Well, anything. Like C++ series probably gets the most views. C++ series, like the Hazel devlogs, usually get more views than everything, basically. Game Engine series, like a lot of those episodes have under 10,000 views. Like in the beginning, like the ones back in the day were better, but that's inevitable. It's just, that's just the way that a extremely long series goes, you know? There's no way that through like, we've done like, I think almost 100 episodes, like, you know, who has watched all of them and is up to date with all of them? You know, that's clearly going to be a smaller number than say like the C++ series where like, hey, the latest one was about like binary and bitwise operators. Like you don't need anything else to watch that video. You can just jump right in. But to watch the latest episode of the Game Engine series, unless you're just watching it for fun, like you kind of need to have watched the other like 70 or 80 videos, which is obviously going to reduce the audience a lot. So I understand why it's happening, and it's not like I'm surprised. I've done very long series pretty much throughout the whole life of my channel, like the game programming series, which I started in 2012. That thing has 126 episodes, like when I stopped it, you know? So, my point being that any long series is going to see a decline in viewership. Anything, you know, you look at any series on YouTube, the first episode has like the most views, the second episode has like half the views, and then it just keeps going down. That's just the way that it is. But because that's the way that it is, I also need to, I guess, consider my time, because lately, like, again, because I've been so busy with stuff going on in my real life, like outside of work, I have to be a little bit more disciplined, I guess, with my time, and I'm still trying to work out how best to do this, because I'm not happy at all with how much time I've been putting into like the Game Engine series, for example, and even into Hazel, and into other videos. Like there's too much stuff going on, like even in work, there's like, you know, the whole Hazel Dev situation, there's C++ series, there's Game Engine series, like there's other videos that I want to make that are more creative, maybe like how to make games using Hazel, and there's just too much stuff going on, and I need to, kind of be a little bit more, I think, putting my foot down with certain things. Anyway, that's a bit of a rant about the state of things. Basically what I want to do today, though, is actually spend time thinking about how this Game Engine series is going to progress, which is why I'm happy that you guys are here. I really wanted to do this live so that it's more of a discussion. What are you doing? Yeah, see, like a lot of the comments are even like, this one, I'm doing your OpenGL tutorials right now. Can't wait to start these. I'm currently following your OpenGL series. Can't wait to start this. Like, these people aren't even actually watching these videos. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Like, I clearly, like it or not, you know, this is, like, I don't really want to create, like, a course, you know, like a university course that 20 people will eventually dedicate their lives to and complete. Because, first of all, I don't think I'm good enough to make a complete course on a game engine. Like, that's difficult. I'm more or less doing this kind of stuff as like a hobby for fun, and obviously to teach people what I know, but like it's never gonna be like a, you know, it's almost like I don't feel comfortable asking people to commit, you know, a year to just go through like eventually the series of complete videos and then learn all there is to know about game engines, because I just don't think that that's especially YouTube is the right space for that, you know? So therefore, how do I take this and still keep it fun and still have it be really like, well, no, sorry, let's back off from the fun for a bit. How do I keep this educational? How do I actually make this, you know, really informative and to benefit people who want to learn more about game engines, but then also kind of take that down, I guess, and also keep it more accessible to casual viewers and more fun. So that's a tough thing to do. And I think that what would be interesting is, again, if I took everything and I summarized it a lot more. Yes, there's going to be more Bitwise videos. There's still 2 more videos in that series. Maybe one next week, or if not, definitely the week after. Okay, so... And see, again, people asking for small projects that take 2 videos to finish, this is a classic little sign of lack of commitment. Like, meaning that, like, that's just how people on YouTube are. You know, you can't... I don't think you can expect people to watch 30 hours of content on YouTube. And if you can, it's going to be a subset of it. So my point is, it's not really the optimal platform. Something like a course website, like Udemy, for example, is more, I think, more suited towards something like that. Because that's a lot more serious, and therefore you don't really even need that many people to be, because it's like a paid platform. You don't really need like hundreds of thousands of people to watch it for it to be really viable to make a career out of it. You can have like 5,000 students or whatever, and that's still good enough. So I think something like that's probably going to be more suited for this anyway. So the fact that this is on YouTube just means that I think that it would be optimal for it to be slightly different. So event system. The thing is, people hated this video, and people said that they preferred the old format and they'd rather watch longer episodes. The real-time decision making is something that people want to watch. See, that's why I'm still thinking about this and I haven't made this decision. Because what I did here again was, I think I just went through like already written code, or I went through diffs. Because I think even then I was like, typing out all this code is going to be nuts. See, I went through diffs. So the other thing that I could do, and this is what I'm thinking of doing actually, is, and this was my original idea actually before I started this stream as well, is what I could do is I could, like, because like it or not, I'm still gonna have to work out how to do everything, right? That has to happen regardless of whether or not it makes it into the video, or if it stays as just something that I do offline, right? It has to happen. Like, for example, I'm doing a material system. I can't just start making a video on a material system. I mean, I could, but it would be very messy and very long. So what I have to do first, right, is I have to plan it. I have to plan it, I have to try it, I have to potentially see it fail, I have to rethink the design, I have to re-implement it, I have to maybe optimize it or think about how we can actually make it work better with the rest of the API. Like, my point is, something like a material, like something even as basic as like, okay, I want materials and I want us to be able to store uniforms in a material class and then have that be something that our renderer could use, right? Something even as simple as that could take 8 hours of actually my time, right? Because I don't know, no software engineer is gonna be like, oh yeah, material system for a game engine, I'll knock that out in a 30-minute episode. Like, that's not gonna happen. And even in like 2 hours, that's still 4 30-minute episodes. That's still quite a bit. But that might not be enough time, right? So my point is, it's gonna take a lot of time, right? And me waving my hands around is gonna provoke my cat to attack me, so please do not do that. Anyway, so what I could do, right, and what I'm thinking of doing is, that whole process of planning and implementing and testing, and like the part that isn't really like, say, an episode of the game engine series, like it's just kind of like the working out what to do. So for example, like that mouse picking live stream, actually I posted that mouse picking planning live stream on YouTube, and so that was like a huge 1.5 hour thing, I think, or it was over an hour definitely. How did that do views wise? Because that, I think, was, let me just go to my channel, actually. Because that, so what was that? How I work. It's 26,000 views. So see, even this did way better than like 14,000, 9,000, 7,300, 12,000. So clearly this actually did better, and it was an 1.5 hours. So that's actually a little bit surprising to me. But you know, again, it's more generic sounding. It's not like game engine series. People probably thought it was more interesting than it actually was, maybe. But I guess people did like this style of video. But then again, you know, whenever I post a video and I'm like, hey, I hope you guys like this style of video, everyone's like, of course we did. So it's also, I can't really trust that necessarily too much, especially if it's different people commenting every time. Anyway, so my point being that what I could do is still basically, when I plan the game engine series, when I try and experiment with and do all of that stuff, I could still stream it so that it looks like this video, right? And if you guys are lost as to what I mean, because you're new to the stream or whatever, you could always look at this, because this is in fact the live stream basically. And what I could do is stream that on Twitch, right? And then that way people who really want the long form content can still watch that. And then I guess what I would do not scratch my monitor. So people who actually want the long form content, people who for some reason want to see every single minute of every work that goes into Hazel, they can still do that by watching the live streams. But I guess what I would do, because currently my live stream VODs are only for subscribers, and if I did do this to the game engine series, I don't really want to like tell people that you literally have to pay to get this content. I would probably make my VODs public because they stay up for 60 days anyway. So what I would do, I guess, in that scenario would be I would take my VODs and I would upload them to YouTube for patrons like I currently do with the rest of all of my live streams, right? And that's like $5 a month, so that's not like a huge, you know, investment, I think, from people. And so if you didn't have time to watch them in the first 60 days, or you want to go back and watch the whole catalog, then you can do that. Otherwise, for the first 60 days, they're free, because that's how long Twitch keeps VODs around. And then still you get the summary episodes on YouTube. So that way, again, people who just want to catch up with the game engine series and see a more casual approach, and just see like the summary of, so these are the code changes that went in, these are the decisions I made, this is why, and now it works, and now it does this, and me explaining certain areas of the code. That would be what the actual game engine series would be like on YouTube. And then raw stream uploads, again, they like the actual streams of the whole process, which again, for a 20-minute resulting video might be 8 hours of content, right? Or might be 4 hours of content, I don't know. But that would be available on Twitch for people to watch for free, but also on YouTube for patrons. So I'll still keep that as kind of like more exclusive content. That's, I think, a good way for people to actually support the series. But also you can watch it for free for 60 days, so I think that's fair. Because after 60 days, Twitch will just delete it. Yeah, and again, what I'm saying is that the concept of how game engine is built and those like decisions and stuff would obviously be in a summary video, because that would be more about talking about stuff. Yeah. So that's kind of what I'm thinking at the moment. I think that possibly that would be good. And maybe every now and then, if I have like a particularly nice live stream, like that mouse one, where it's like just me working for an hour and a half, and I'm talking a lot, and everything is working, and nothing's failing, and it's fun to watch, that I might every now and then post those full raw streams on YouTube for fun, on my main channel. But otherwise, they would just be probably stream exclusive. For some features, it might be interesting to go through the process backwards. Start by describing the end product and then talk about the differences from earlier versions and why you decided to change them. Well, yeah, exactly. Like, I'm sure some summary videos would be like that. Personally, I became a sponsor because I value the focused content and want to support you making more of it. Don't really much care for the live coding streams. But what do you mean by focused content? Because, like, the focused content, I guess you mean, like, directly how to do this and that's already been prepared, and not just like hours of. But see, that's what I mean. Like, if I was to record videos of me developing the more complex features of the engine, that would be hours, and that wouldn't be as focused as like a summary video, which is why I think that would work really well. I saw that some people, instead of typing code from scratch on video, just paste code written beforehand after explaining it. That's kind of what I would do with the diff, but I don't think I would just show the diffs. I wouldn't paste it in, unless there were like iterations that I thought were really useful to show. I mean, I don't really see a downside, because I guess in a way what I'm doing is hopefully just saving time and also providing people with more concise content. Because the way I see this is, okay, so let's just say we do the material system. Let's just say that it takes 8 hours of me planning and implementing and making sure that it works and testing and setting up. And okay, so 8 hours. Let's just say it's taken 8 hours, right? So after I do the 8 hours of that, I now need to record a video. Like, let's just say this is the old Game Engine series format, the one that we have now. So then in that case, okay, 8 hours, okay, so there's a lot of code to type, a lot of code to explain. So what would I have to do? I'd have to break it up into like, I don't know, 4 videos maybe, right? And maybe they'd be each like 30 minutes or whatever. I think that that would probably be enough, right? So now I have to record 4 videos in which I partially, you know, take code that I've written as part of the material system, rewrite it in front of everyone, explain all of it, and then obviously that results in basically 1 episode per week. So that one stream, or that one day that I spent making, like doing all the material system in 8 hours, right? And let's just say I streamed that whole thing, I would then have to make 4 videos and then release them, I guess probably once a week. So that's 4 weeks. So basically that whole material system takes like a month to do, right? Or the plan B, it is, and not only that, right? But it's almost like it's a little bit redundant, because I mean you guys know me anyway. When I stream and when I program, like I usually explain everything I'm doing. So it's not like these videos are suddenly going to be so much more in depth. They're going to be maybe a little bit more in depth, but sometimes these streams are even better because you guys ask questions, and that might be stuff that I don't really think about when I'm recording a video, because I obviously don't look at chat or anything like that, right? So in other words, the content is there. There's just 8 hours of it. And so me breaking it up into 4 videos, I'm not saying it wouldn't be useful at all. I'm just saying that that's obviously going to take a lot of time, and it's going to be spread out over 4 weeks. And in a way, it's going to be the same content as the 8-hour stream, but just boiled down and simplified and kind of streamlined, I guess, because there's no like experimentation anymore, unless it's really beneficial for education. It's more just like, let's implement this. So alternatively, the alternative path is that that 8-hour live stream still happens, because I still physically need to work out how to do the material system. But then what we do is we make a single video that is basically me showing the material system in action, showing all of the code diffs, walking through the code, basically doing a code review, honestly, doing a code review, showing it, and then integrating it in one 30-minute video that's released on that same week, possibly even the next day after that 8-hour live stream in which I've written all of this. So that obviously is a lot more rapid. The series will progress much faster, but also I don't have to spend so much time going through everything. And more importantly, people watching don't have to be like, oh, the 4th episode on the material system. I'm sick of this, because it's such a, you know, it's one thing to write the code, and it's one thing to sit here in Visual Studio and like write the code for the material system. That's kind of fun. But to watch videos, you know, the reason why I've also been thinking about this, guys, is because I've been thinking about the videos that I watch, right? I've been thinking about the programming videos that I watch, because I do not watch any videos that are like mine on YouTube, right? I don't. What I do watch is things like Sebastian's code adventures, or, well, you know, various, I guess I watch quite a bit of various devlogs from people. And like, for example, like, yeah, devlogs, but I was trying to think more of like, because Sebastian's stuff, that's not really, it's not so much a devlog, because he actually like, it's like a whole project in one video, and I really like that. But anyway, you know, that kind of stuff, yeah, like, you know, some devlogs are a bit more technical and they're good. But anyway, my point is, I like watching that, and then I also watch like GDC talks and various like SIGGRAPH talks and various other kind of talks, because again, what is that? It's like an hour of someone explaining everything, and that's fun to watch. It's kind of like, it's a summary, right? What I don't watch is people programming live and showing me how to do everything step by step. Why? Because for me, it's way more efficient to just look at the code, right? And maybe like some comments, or maybe if it's like some really weird like algorithm, watching a video that explains that algorithm would also be beneficial, right? But watching someone like write a game engine, for me, like, it's different, I guess, because obviously you guys are, I mean, probably, you know, don't have as much experience making a game engine that I do. But my point is, I feel like at this point where we've talked about this so much and you've followed this series, you should probably start becoming more that person than like, okay, I need to, you know, get to the stage of like a full 3D game engine with C# integration, and I want every line of code written for me, and I want every line of code explained, and I want everything to be seen, right? because I don't think that that's helpful for people, because that, like, if you require that, you're clearly still a baby in terms of like your experience and how comfortable you are programming. So that's not good, because then why are you building a game engine, and why have you gotten to this point in a game engine and you still can't do things yourself? Like, that's weird. And I don't think that's healthy or helpful. So anyway, but summary videos that explain concepts and also show the implementation. I'm not saying I'm not going to show the code. I'm just saying that I'm not going to physically type it in front of people, because it's getting to the point where it's just inefficient to do that. And I think that it's not helpful for the people who are actually trying to learn from this stuff, unless you're just following this along blindly and you want every code written because you just want to type and learn that way, which I'm sure is maybe like 10-20% of people, but I don't think that that's a good way for them to go. I think that if they put more effort into it and actually actually watched like a summary video, maybe listen to the concept, try to integrate it themselves first, and then looked at my diff and my solution, that would be way better. All right, how about a video with cut parts of the stream? Well, that's probably going to be too much, because like maybe actually I could actually almost do a commentary over the stream, and then show bits written in the stream. That's not a bad idea. I might, depending on how the streams end up though, because sometimes it won't be good. It wouldn't be. Okay, so Maget sub. I still don't know how to pronounce your name, man. I've seen you around the stream for like years, but I still don't understand. Anyway, so if you don't enjoy code review videos, okay, so but you do enjoy the current game engine series. Why? Like, how do you watch it? How do you consume that content? And do you type the code along with the videos, or what do? Do you just watch them? I'm interested. I think if you really can split example material systems into separate topics like multiple videos are fine. I'm not saying it's not fine, I'm just saying it's a lot of time and it's very slow progress. That's the problem. When I want to learn about general engine structure, I browse GitHub. Well, exactly, like I feel like most people should, you know, at this point in a game engine. Like, of course, if it's like OpenGL or very basic game engine architecture, typing out the code would be very useful, but you know, we've got a decent project here, you know? I don't usually write any code while watching the videos, but I love seeing the thought process. Okay, yeah. Well, see, that's what I mean. The thought process is something that we can capture in those summary videos. And if you really want the extended thought process, because that's the other thing, right? Those videos are fake in a way. I used to do them completely spontaneous, like as in I used to not plan them at all. I used to sit down and be like, okay, today we're going to implement a layer system, and I would do all of it live in the video. Like, it wouldn't be live streamed. This was back like 2 years ago maybe, but for the first like 20-30 episodes of the series, they were completely unplanned. They were all done live just by me recording, and then sometimes if there'd be mistakes, I'd edit them out or I'd redo them, but that's it, you know, because it was so simple back then and I could manage everything in my head. I knew how everything would kind of come together. But now, like, I can't just write a material system without knowing how it's going to work. I need to actually type the code in and debug it and do all that stuff, which again, nothing wrong with that, but it's just very long. This is a very long process. If I'm watching something long format, it's to hear thought process in the moment. Well, exactly, and that brings me back to this fake stuff that I was talking about. So what used to happen is it used to be real in the sense that, like, because it really was my first time going through the code, it was my real thought process. But now, since I do the planning and live streams anyway, and then I record the episode, it's a fake thought process. It's not an in the moment thing. It's me trying to recreate what I already know, which again makes for a better video, you could argue, because it's way more concise and I know what I'm doing, but this is not the genuine thought process. So if you wanted the genuine thought process, you would have to watch the live stream. So either way, that doesn't work, you know what I mean? Shorter format generally means I'm trying to implement something smaller or specific. Well, yeah, but also you might want, like, I guess, a summary of how something works. Like, you know, I wouldn't mind, you know, I wouldn't mind watching, for example, like a video of someone explaining how their material system in their game engine works. And maybe even showing like all the code to implement it, because that's kind of interesting. But if they were typing out the whole thing over hours, then I just don't have time to watch that, and also it wouldn't be helpful for me. And again, like I'm trying not to, make this series like so selfish in a way, like, because obviously like this series is not for me. I don't need this series, meaning that like I don't need to watch this series. Like I would never, I'm not the target audience is my point. So I have to picture like what you guys, and that's why I'm kind of doing this in this live stream to try and figure out what's going on, because I don't think that it's helpful if I just kind of make all these decisions myself without even finding out more about the audience. And like, I don't know, like I do read comments and stuff, but like, you know, most people just consume. Most people don't really write comments, and so it's not easy. And with the that's why the poll was kind of useful, because that's easy. Just press a button and, you know, but that's kind of it. Like shorter 20-minute videos that overviews how system works. Yeah. So that's kind of what I'm thinking of doing. I don't think you can make every single person happy with whatever it is the format you chose. Personally, I think we could get best of both sides with a format sort of like the Hazel devlogs. Yeah, well, I don't really want to make it like the Hazel devlogs, because the Hazel devlogs are very shallow. That like I don't really show any code. I think it's more of like a, hey, these are the new features, you know, that we've added, and this is what you can do now, because it's supposed to be more like an entertaining thing, like, oh cool, what does Hazel Dev have, you know, how's Cherno's engine going? It's more of just a, I'm making a project, hey guys, want to check it out. So I don't really, like, I do want to make some more in-depth videos where I actually go into the code and discuss it a bit and show stuff. I have some plans for that. I don't know why I haven't gotten around to doing that yet, but that is in the works, I guess. But again, the having it a little bit more kind of, you know, by having it like a little bit more in depth, meaning like actually writing the code and stuff, I think is going to be better. I don't mind the fakeness of pre-planned videos. Pretty obvious that you don't copy up with an elegant design at the outset. Yeah. No, well, no, I'm just saying that for people who are like, I want your genuine process of implementing something like that, the game engine series is not really a good indication of my genuine process of working. That's why that video, that stream that I did post, the mouse picking one that's on YouTube, that one is, I titled it How I Work, because that was real, you know? And that's all. Not genuine, but that's sort of how programming really is. The client does not see everything that went into the making of the product, they just see the product. Well, yeah, but I'm just talking about people who say that I like that you type out all the code in the videos because it shows your thought process, and I want to see that. To those people, I'm just saying that it's better to do that. Like, it's better to watch the live streams anyway, because it's not real, even though it might look real, because I'm pretty good at acting, but it's not. A lot of it's very scripted. It's not actually on a script, but I play it up for the episodes sometimes. Like, as in I make it look like, oh no, but this doesn't work. But then I'm actually like, that's because we need to do this. But that's already, I've been through that, you know? And I deliberately wrote that code the way it was because I thought that maybe it would be easier for people who might run into the same problem to see how to recognize the solution and how, like, why it's a problem, and to demonstrate that. No, but again, I think that, like, you know, people are saying, oh, well, you can't please everyone. But in a way, I think I currently, with this new plan, I kind of am, because I'm still keeping those live streams. They'll be up. And if you want to watch one from half a year ago, and it's no longer on Twitch, you can pay $5 and get access to all of them on Patreon, you know? Which I don't think is really a problem, and you'll be obviously helping to support the series. But if you're okay with the summary videos, then they'll be on YouTube, and they won't be just code reviewers, as in like looking through diffs, being like, so we added this because we needed to do this to get it to work. And no, they're not gonna be like that. They're gonna be like me actually showing stuff and like, hey guys, what's up? Let's talk about this. Maybe let's even draw a diagram to explain how this works. Kenny, thanks so much for your subscription. Welcome to the stream. You know, it's going to be that kind of stuff. Like, it's not going to be as stupid as stupid, I guess, as just like a code review that you would expect in an office, because even code reviews in an office can sometimes be decent. Like, it's just kind of, I don't know, man. I don't want to make it boring. I'm still going to make it fun, you know? It's going to be like, yeah, same old me and same you know, same thing, but just instead of literally typing everything. In fact, I think it'll be more engaging because there'll be less time for me to, like, you know, type stuff. There'll be more about, like, actually discussing the code. Which again, you know, that's what I mean by these things. Like, people who are a little bit more intermediate maybe and less beginner level, they don't need to watch me type code. Like, to them, that's a waste of time. Like, why would they want to watch someone painstakingly write out hundreds of lines of code? Like, that is such a waste of time. And yes, I talk over that, and sometimes I try and say as much as I can while typing the code, so it's not just like, you know, silence while I'm typing away and making and writing code, because that would be even worse. But still, it's like, to me as an engineer, it just doesn't make any sense. Why would anyone want to watch that? You know, why would anyone want to watch that if they can get the same content, but instead of typing everything, you can explain it, and since you don't have to wait to finish typing, you can move on immediately instead of just being like, all right, so I'll explain this after I quickly write this if statement. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Kenny's saying, really enjoy the vids. Cherno finally caught up on Game Engine series a few weeks ago, building a hobby engine. They've been helpful and encouraging. Great to hear, because we're currently discussing them and what we're going to do. Well, unfortunately, streams are not as smooth in terms of mistakes as videos, of course. Well, yeah, but for the audience that wants to see the mistakes because they want to learn from them and see, like, how I work and what my process is, which people were talking about in the chat before, those streams are perfect for them. And that's why, obviously, since you've mentioned that, they're not smooth and they're very long, and so they'll never be the Game Engine series on YouTube, because people don't want to, I don't think most people want to watch hours and hours of content to do this one little thing. They'd rather see more or less a much more concise thing. But my point is we're getting to the point where even the concise current format of the Game Engine series is still going to be hours, because we're getting into more complex topics. And so that's why I'm saying, if we make it more summarized and we make it even more concise, but again, still every line of code will be shown and explained, and the diffs will be on GitHub anyway because it's public, you know, everything will be there. It's not like it's suddenly like, oh, now I'm gonna draw you guys a diagram and that's it. Sorry, work out the code yourselves. It's not like it's becoming that, you know. I like also what Obi-Van 1052 said. The series is complex now, so level of viewers should be too. Exactly. The viewers should grow with the series. That's the ideal plan. And so if you're still, like, you know, imagine that, like, this engine is like Unreal and we want to add, you know, some kind of better animation blending support. What are we really gonna write every line of code for that and be like, all right, so this is me doing this now? Like, no, like, that doesn't make any sense. In my opinion, code videos only make sense for stuff that people can easily replicate in an environment they're learning comfortable. Well, exactly. For beginners, it's great because they can just literally just follow line by line, and they will get the same result as you. And I know from my experience as a beginner, like 10 years ago, for me, actually watching someone write the code line by line and me copying it, that was by far the best place, because I could actually see that person writing every single line of code and I could reproduce the same result through code, and that was magic to me back then. So I understand the beginners wanting that, but again, that's why we have, you know, the courses for beginners and why we have the first 100 episodes of the Game Engine series. Which is, actually, how many episodes are there of the Game Engine series? I have a 92. I think we're 92, because in my production folder, 92 is like the code name for the latest episode. So unless I lost count somewhere, but 92 episodes of the Game Engine series. So like 100 basically, almost 100. Plus the separate batch rendering videos and more depth was a good split. Yeah, because that was again a part that didn't really have to be tied to the Game Engine series. And where possible, I like to do that because they just do better. They get more views, they help more people, you know, because they're not tied into 80 episodes of prerequisites, you know. I'm a medical student, but I usually join your stream in my free time just to enjoy it. Oh, that's cool, man. Lion Man, thanks for watching the stream. Glad you are enjoying it. And again, by reviewing code, it's not necessarily going to be like a code review for those of you who know what a code review is like, because like you've worked as a software engineer or whatever. Like it's not really going to be like that. It's going to still be explanations and teaching. Build-up series can be hard to pull off on YouTube. People lose track quickly. I don't know what you mean by build-up series, but yes, of course, people lose track quickly of like any kind of series on YouTube. You know, someone, even the most dedicated person might be like, yes, like I can't wait to follow this video every week it's released. You know, oh, they come out on Thursday nights or Sunday nights or whatever. I'm gonna allocate a couple hours to actually do the code. You can start off like that and you can last a while, but when you get into like the 3rd year of these videos, man, life changes like that. You know, who is still, from the first episode, who is still like, oh, Cherno's releasing a video tonight. You know, I'm still in no, like whoever started the Game Engine series in 2018, when it started, I think it started in 2018. Whoever started it back then and is still up to this point and has not done anything else is seriously wasting their time. Unless this is just like a chill activity that they're doing as a hobby that they don't really care about, they're just doing it for fun. You know, then I could imagine like if it's really, really low priority for you and you're just living life and you're just like, oh cool, I'll do this now. Hey, Scott Dev, thank you for your 7 months of subscriptioning. Glad to have you here. Doesn't Git repository solve that beginners need following line by line? Yeah. Well, again, it does, but it's still not like lines. They're not explained. You know what I mean? Like the summary might be more useful because it actually will have like a diagram and it will potentially have a diagram and like at the very least I'll explain it verbally. So it's obviously more than a diff. But then on the other hand, if it was line by line, people who might want an explanation have to sit through line by line programming for no reason, and a lot of extra talking from me because I need to fill up the silence while I'm typing the code, and many more hours of content than they need. And also don't forget that it's not even about people watching, it's about me making those videos. I could be spending those hours developing something else, like working on Hazel, on Hazel Dev, producing more videos, doing other stuff, you know? So it's also kind of important to consider that. And because it is less time, not even working on other stuff, maybe even working on this, but just getting further in the series, because you don't have to spend a month on the material system, can do it in a week instead.